Oh man, I am live. It's Friday night. I had a great show planned. I'm going to talk about Thursday Night Football. I'm going to go over every NFL Week 3 game. But first, just give me 30 seconds. Yes! Oh, man. Oh, yes. It's Friday night, and I'm doing the thing that I love to do most. I'm talking NFL football. Now, full disclosure, I had some problems with Amazon, so I missed the last half of the game. I know the score was 29-17. I saw the final play of the game where the score was really 23-17, and Cleveland scored the cheap touchdown, probably ruined the over-under for a lot of people because it opened up at 40.5, jumped down. I think it was 39 or maybe 38.5 at kickoff. But I have it now on the NFL Network because I have YouTube TV. I thought that week one Amazon's first week. They had it playing locally so I could watch it on YouTube TV. However, this week, because it wasn't local, it was only on Amazon. I had to watch it through the Amazon app, and there was all sorts of problems. It reset 3 separate times, sending me back to the very beginning. So I'm going to go over every Week 3 game. I'm going to give you kind of my prediction. And the link below, check out the link below. I have links to both my YouTube channels, the Dan Talks NFL History and Dan Betts NFL. The Dan Betts NFL, I am going to have a video me and Denver Gator put out. I'm going to have that video ready to go later tonight. And then Dan Talks NFL History, I'm going to have that video ready to go Saturday. I'll probably release it Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning. But the links below to both those, go ahead and check those out. There is seems to be some sort of technical difficulty, but I'm not exactly sure how to fix this, to be perfectly honest. Bear with me one moment. All right. I'm having some issues technically. I'm curious how this looks at everybody else. I think I'm good on all 3 media platforms, but anyway, I'm just going to kind of continue. I'm just going to kind of drive forward here. I'm going to break down every single game. Do check out my other 2 links, and we'll go from there. Baltimore at New England. New England is, by the way, what I did is I went to, all these numbers are from the Barstool app. What I'm doing is I just took all the numbers from the Barstool app just about an hour ago. So all these should be up to date. If something's changed recently within the last hour, I have my phone, and I can also access the website if there's something that's changed, something you have a question on. The over-unders, I did not put down into my notes. I just have the lines on the game. I'm going to give you just a quick prediction. And I'm going to start off Baltimore at New England. New England's a 2.5 point home dog. I think Baltimore is going to come back. I think that they're going to win this game because the line's less than 3. I do like Baltimore here. I'm a little skeptical, man. I'm a little skeptical about betting on this game, but I do like Baltimore to win. You know what, Alex, man, time for Texans. Yes, I have action on the Texans to get, I need them to win 6 games. If they win 6 games at $2,000, I bet I'll be over that just with the Texans alone, I believe. Texans at Chicago. Chicago's a 2.5-point favorite. I actually like Houston to win outright, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Chicago's just kind of a disaster. Defensively, I do like what the Bears bring. I think offensively, there's a lot of holes. And I really think that the Houston Texans are the better team. I've watched both play. I think both these teams are kind of better than people think. Chicago, it wouldn't surprise me if they just win 4 or 5 games this year. Houston, I need them to get to 6. Just after 6 wins, you can stop. But I do like Houston there. Buffalo at Miami. Miami is a 5.5-point home dog. Buffalo has a long list of injuries. I still think they win this game. Bottom line, I think the Miami-Baltimore game is kind of a fluke. We're going to find out here. There's 3 undefeated teams in the AFC. Buffalo and Miami are 2 of them. So one of them is going to be knocked off that list. So Baltimore takes it. Yeah, I do too. The Patriots have not looked good. Lamar Jackson actually had a pretty good game. They just kind of went away from running the ball. They're too good of a coaching staff to make that. Baltimore, New England's kind of a really good interdivision rivalry. I'm really looking forward to this game. I won't be watching it because I'm obviously going to be watching Chiefs Colts, but this is going to be a fun game. Like I said, Buffalo, Miami, even though Buffalo's got a laundry list of injuries, I'm not sold on Miami. I mean, great win, great. Everything's great for Miami. I'm just not sold on them yet. We'll find out. Cincinnati at the New York Jets. The Jets are a 6-point home dog. Cincinnati looks absolutely terrible. A lot of people are kind of jumping all over this. Let me double check here. The line early on opened at 4.5. It's now at 6. People are really heavy on the Jets. I'm not so sure, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm avoiding this game like the plague, but I think Cincinnati will kind of come back. But the Jets' defensive line is pretty good. I don't know about their injury. I should check the injury report before I went on. I forgot to do that because I was looking at a few other things. This is not a game I'm really interested in watching. I am curious if Cincinnati can come back, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets win this game. It really wouldn't. The defense is pretty good. And I'll be honest, I think the team's better with Flacco. So I'm avoiding this game like the plague, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets win this one. Alex, I couldn't agree more with you. I'm taking Buffalo just to better the 2. I don't think we should take Miami for granted. You can't take them for granted. I'm not sold on them. A lot of people feel like Miami is the new hot team in the NFL. Even if they win this game, I'm still not sold on Miami. I think it was kind of fluky what happened against Baltimore. Sometimes these things happen. I think Miami's kind of a middle of the pack team, to be honest with you. But this is going to be kind of a good litmus test. This is a good litmus test, I think. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. I'm still taking Eagles. Spread is still 6.5. Yeah, it is 6.5. I'll jump to that one. Philly at Washington. Philly's 6.5-point favorite. A home divisional game, that's always tough, especially at 6.5. I don't think Washington's a very good team. I think the Eagles are quickly rising to the top. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East, no question. Are they the best team in the NFC? No, but they're getting up there pretty fast. And Jalen Hurts is making a strong case for NFL MVP, having a phenomenal couple weeks. If you put a gun to my head, I would take the Eagles to cover. I definitely think they win. It's just 6.5 is kind of a tough game. I'm really looking forward to this. Obviously, it's a noon game, so I'm going to be paying attention to Kansas City and the Colts. But this is one I really want to watch, especially if it's a close game. I kind of want to see what happens. You like the Ravens to cover? Yeah, it's 2.5, so definitely, absolutely. I'm taking Cincy to win. I don't have confidence in Flacco myself. Cincy will get back on track, but I do like what the Jets are doing. And the defense, I think, matches up against a bad offensive line. This game, I think, is going to be a lot more entertaining than people think. I think it's going to be a pretty damn good game. Another game that I would, okay, so I'm watching the Chiefs game with my dad. My dad lives on the Missouri side. What's the big deal? Well, Missouri doesn't have sports betting. Kansas does, because this game has in-game betting written all over it. And that's a Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota's a 6-point home favorite. I don't really have a play in this game. The Detroit Lions are, I think, the most entertaining team in the NFL. They could be up by 20. They could be down by 20, and they will find a way to make it a game. There will be a team that's going to be up by double digits in this game, and there'll be a back and forth type of game. If I had to put a bet on it, the over's been fluctuating. I think it was 50 and a half, went up to 53 and a half. I think right now it's like 52, maybe 52 and a half. I don't really have a play on this game other than that I would do some in-game betting. If you had to put a gun to my head, I would probably say Minnesota. But this is a game that I think the over could be a good play. I really want to do some in-game betting. I'm not going to be able to, but if you have the option to do some in-game betting, kind of focus on Detroit, Minnesota. One of these teams is going to take a double-digit lead, and the other team's going to come back. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. I know Flacco led the Jets to a win versus the Browns, but I do not have a strong opinion on the Browns as a team, even a win over a terrible team in the Steelers. You're 100% correct, Alex. I was going to put action on the Steelers. Then I watched that Cleveland Jets game, and I really thought Cleveland was the better team. It was funny because Nick Chubb took ownership. Nick Chubb came in and he said, I should have just took a knee and we win the game. That's not true. There was twice Kareem Hunt went out of bounds in the last drive of the game. He stays in bounds. The Browns win that game. And I also noticed, now keep in mind, when I watched the game, I already knew the outcome. I knew that Jets were going to come back, but I was paying attention to when they had the lead and they were driving to score an extra touchdown, they were snapping the ball with over 20 seconds left on the play clock. These are some minor coaching hiccups that could have been avoided, that should have been avoided. Good teams don't do things like this, and Cleveland's not a good team. So you're 100% correct. I think the Steelers need to make some changes. I saw something where Tomlin's on the hot seat, or Steelers fans want to make a change. Slow up. But offensively, it wouldn't surprise me if they move on from Matt Canada. And it might just be a matter of time before we see Kenny Pickett take over, because Trubisky, who I don't think is a bad quarterback at all. I actually like Trubisky and a lot of other people, but bottom line, he might have to play sooner than later. They're really not getting it done offensively. And there's enough skill position talent. The offensive line didn't play terrible. They didn't play good either. But yeah, I don't have a strong opinion of the Browns. Seriously, if I'm the Browns, I don't even have Deshaun Watson play this year. I go ahead and I keep Brissett as the quarterback, and I have Watson stay out the whole year unless the playoffs are completely out of reach for the last game or two. Then I would put Watson in. But when he's eligible to come back, I would go ahead and I'd leave him out. I would just have Deshaun Watson just stay out, and maybe the final game or two. And that's if everything's out. Seriously though, think about it. Let's say you can't make the playoffs last 2 games of the year. Do you really want Watson playing, or you want the guy you signed to a 1-year contract? I think it's a 1-year deal. So I think what Flacco did was I actually disagree. Flacco's a solid backup quarterback, and that's not a great defense. There's some weapons on that Jets offense. I really like those rookies, Breece Hall and was it Garrett Wilson. I like both those guys quite a bit. To tell you the truth, I think the Jets are better off in the short term with Flacco than in the long term. There's Tua going to throw for 450 and 6 touchdowns or whatever the hell it was. No, he'll probably never do that again. So Flacco, I think in the short term would be better, but Zach Wilson, when he's ready to play, he'll be the starting quarterback. But I disagree. I get where you're coming from, but I disagree. I think it's less likely that Tua is going to go for 450 and 6 touchdowns, and Flacco has a decent game. And that's all it was. It was a decent game. It wasn't a great game. I think if Zach Wilson had the same exact game, people would be losing their mind. But bottom line, 300 yards and I think two touchdowns. That's okay. And Flacco can do that in the short term. Now, is he the long-term guy? Absolutely not. But I'm not sure Wilson is either. So we'll see. Tua never had a coach that's built around him like he has right now, like their former coach, but he was defense first, offense second, which I believe is. There was a lot of things that Flores did wrong, and I think Flores did deserve to be fired because he completely mismanaged Tua, and that's one thing I do like about McDaniel. I think it's McDaniel, right? It's McDaniel or McDonald, one of those two. Is that he's building this? Well, he's building the San Francisco style offense, which is really a run first offense. And, because they got down, they had to, take some chances, do some things that they normally don't do. Of course, Baltimore kind of shit themselves, not running the ball and just trying to change defensive schemes. But bottom line, this is more of a run first type of offense. I really think that that game against Baltimore is a complete fluke. I really do. Now, am I saying Tua is not going to have a good game? I'm not saying that at all. But do I see him as a guy who's going to throw for 450 and 6 touchdowns again? No, I don't. I don't see that at all. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this week's a good week for them because they're a home dog against the division rival, and Buffalo's really banged up. I mean, they're in terrible shape right now. So if you are going to beat the Bills, this is the time to do it when you're a home dog. So if they can find a way to win against Buffalo, then I'd be on board. But more than likely, even if all the injuries, I think Buffalo wins this game pretty comfortably. So. Denver Gator, what's up, brother? I have a magic 8 ball. It says Cleveland wins over the Steelers 29. Hey, Denver Gator asked the 8 ball. So, yeah, McDaniel. Okay. All right, let's make sure. Okay, we already talked about Houston at Chicago. Again, I like Houston here, but I'm a little biased because I have action on Houston over 4, over 5, and over 6 wins. Actually, it's 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. So I got to get the game. So I really need Houston to win 6 games. I think they get win number 1 on the road. Next game, Kansas City at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a 5.5 home dog. It was 6.5, dropped down to 5. This is, by the way, on the bet video that me and Denver Gator have. Check out the link below to both my other YouTube channels. I almost forgot here. I'm going to include this here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this. I actually have a bet that I took Kansas City in the money line, and then I took a small bet on Kansas City to cover 5.5. And it's a betting principle called hedging your bet. So what I did is that if the Chiefs win the game, I'm still going to make a profit. But if they win and don't cover, or let me rephrase it. If they win and don't cover, I'm still gonna win. But if they win and cover, I just win a little more. It's called hedging your bet. Leonard's out. Pittman and Pierce are going to play. I think Pierce is going to make his first. I don't think he played week 1. I could be wrong about that. But Pittman's going to be a big deal, and I think that's the reason why the line's out. But I still like Kansas City. I disagree. I think that game versus the Ravens is what Tua's turn should. Okay, I'm sorry. I think that game versus the Ravens is what Tua should turn to be. I know what you're saying. Okay. Am I saying who replicate what we did in Baltimore? No, but I think that's more of what's to come than a fluke, in my opinion. Okay. There's a lot of people. Remember the whole tank for Tua talk in Miami? There was a lot of people that thought that he was worthy of being the number 1 pick in the draft. And when the draft came around, I firmly believe that Miami had the number 1 pick. They were going to take Tua. If the Chargers had the number 1 pick, they would have took Herbert. Cincinnati, who did have the number 1 pick, took Burrow. And I really didn't think that either one of those quarterbacks were really significantly better than the other. I really thought that each team had a specific need. Now, I think I'm wrong because, well, as of right now, I'm wrong. I really thought Cincinnati should have took Chase Young. And it was kind of strange because they're calling Burrow the hometown kid, But Chase Young, who played at Ohio State, was still at Ohio State, was not being labeled as the guy. But I really thought Cleveland should have got somebody like Teddy Bridgewater and then got Chase Young, who I thought could have been a generational type player. Now, keep in mind, when he's healthy, he's a very good player. I think he's out for another couple weeks. I think he's out this week. I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure he's out. But you're not alone in thinking this. You're not alone at all, because a lot of people think that Tua had the potential. He was the fifth pick overall. A lot of people thought he should have been number one pick. So you're not alone. I'm not sold on him yet. I'm not sold on McDaniel. Yeah, I'm not sold on McDaniel yet. I kind of want to wait and see. But this is the litmus test. This is what you got to do. You got to beat the Bills if you want to advance in the AFC East. I mean, that's the number one team right now, and he's going to get a good opportunity because you're taking a very wounded Buffalo team. So you're not alone in thinking this. I think it's more of a fluke, to be honest with you. I really do. I don't think he's there yet. I don't think Miami's there yet, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out, because if the Bills go down there beat up and they win 45-21 or something like that, then I'm going to be like, yeah, this is a 500 team. And I think that's what you're looking at this year. I think next year could be different, because you're going to have Tyreek and Waddle, Gesicki. They use a variety of running backs. The offensive line still in flux. So I think it's going to be a year. I think this year's kind of going to be like an improvement, a stepping stone, if you will. So Chiefs over Colts easy. The defense hasn't looked good, and their offense has been lackluster, to say the least. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody I respect actually put money on the Colts. I was really surprised. He also took San Francisco, and I, of course, took Seattle. I was wrong, but I think if Lance played the whole game like he was supposed to, Seattle covers 9.5. But he likes the Colts, and I'm like, oh God, because he was right last week. I was wrong, but I don't see this even being a close game, to be honest. I really think, now keep in mind I'm a Chiefs fan, so I think that they win by double digits, but yeah, the Colts have looked really bad. Can they turn things around? Yeah, hopefully it's not this week. So next game, Vegas at Tennessee. Tennessee's a 2-point home dog, and I'm kind of surprised because Renfro's out, Perryman's out. I actually might change my mind and put some action on this game. The only game I bet on so far is Indianapolis, but I may go back and take Tennessee. I think Tennessee gets the first win of the season here. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing from the Raiders right now. With Renfro and Perryman out, that's a big deal. Perryman's a big deal. I have the game against Arizona on DVR. I'm going to rewatch that before I make any decisions, but I'm anxious to see this game. I kind of want to see one of these teams is going to go from 0-2 to 1-2. The other team being 0-3 is going to be in a hole. Now, if it's the Raiders, let's say Tennessee wins this game, the Raiders in 0-3, that's a deep dark hole. Tennessee at 0-3, they could still win the AFC South, which I think is pretty bad. I'm taking Miami as a wild card team at the moment. I don't think they can overtake Buffalo, but New England is not good, and the Jets will end up in last place. They could definitely make a playoff run this year. Well, if they get into the playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous team, and they're going to be a dangerous team because they have a lot of money on the defensive side of the ball. The question is the offensive line, because they need to be able to run the ball. If they're going to be a pass-happy team, I think they're in a lot of trouble. But if they can be a balanced offense and a run-heavy offense, a team that can have success running the ball, then they're going to be a very dangerous team. Right now, they haven't really been able to run the ball exceptionally well. They've been relying on Tua. I don't think he's there yet. I think this is a team that may struggle to get a wild card, but let's say they finish second, okay? And right now, the AFC North is pretty good, pretty bad, and the AFC South is pretty bad. And the AFC West, Denver's not as good as they were cracked up to be. We're going to find out about the Chargers and the Raiders. So, yeah, I originally thought that 10 wins might not even get you into the playoffs. You may be able to get a wild card in the AFC at 9-8. So yeah, I could see that. And the Dolphins are a team, if they're able to run the ball, I don't want to see them in the playoffs because they have a lot of money invested in the defensive side of the ball, especially that secondary. And if they're able to run the ball and they get a balanced offense, they're going to be very scary. No, I think it's first round. Yeah, I could see that. I had Titans over the Raider. I heavily do not trust the Raiders' offense. They're not good, and their defense is like. Well, Perryman being out is a big deal. He was playing really, really good for the Raiders. That's a big loss. Renfro being out is also a big thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your young corner on Adams. If I remember right. Oh God, who's the other corner? Anyway, doesn't matter. They're going to take one. They're going to take their number one guy. They're going to put him on Adams. They're going to double bracket him and force Carr to go elsewhere, probably to Waller. But bottom line, Perryman being out's a big loss. I think this is a deal. If you're into fantasy football, you may want to go ahead and double up on Derrick Henry. I think he has a big game. Yeah, the AFC South is really bad. That's why I'm like, come on, Houston, give me. I need some wins from Houston. Next game, I'm really kind of bird dogging the Saints at Carolina. Carolina's a 2.5-point home dog. The only reason I haven't jumped all over the Saints here is because Marcus May, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, and Alvin Kamara are all questionable. I think if these four guys play, that line jumps from 2.5 maybe to 4.5. The simple fact that the injury list is bad really, really has me worried. So Houston, I would love nothing more. Houston gets in the playoffs. Like I said, if they get the 6, then if they see here, if they get the 6, if they get the 6 wins, I win. Well, I almost win even if everything else loses. But I have Cincinnati under 10.5 wins, which I'd consider almost a lock at this point. So, but I'm going to pay attention to this because if the Saints are healthy and I can get 3, I'm gonna jump all over that. I think Carolina's just a disaster right now, so I do like that. We talked about Philly at Washington. Washington's 6.5-point favorite. I really want to pay attention to this, and I think Philly's the dominant team in the NFC East, but I kind of want to see what Washington does. I'm kind of curious: is Washington just a trash team? Are they okay? We'll have to wait and see. But I'd like Philly. I'm not betting this, but if I had to, I would definitely take Philly. Late afternoon games. There's some good ones. Jacksonville at the Los Angeles Chargers. This line just free-falled. For those of you that don't know, this line went from 7 to 3 overnight. And the reason why is Herbert is questionable. Keenan Allen is questionable. J.C. Jackson is doubtful. If I can get confirmation that Herbert is going to play and I can get 3, I am going to bet it. I actually think the Chargers may be able to cover 3 with Chase Daniel playing. I just think that the Chargers defense is going to overwhelm a young, inefficient Jaguars offense. Now, keep in mind the Jaguars, they shut out Indianapolis, but at home it's going to be different than in LA, even though LA doesn't have a home field advantage. James, I didn't know that Harrison Smith is out. That's a big deal. And I forgot to mention this. Amon-Ra St. Brown, whatever prop bet you can get on him, you may want to take it. He had a big game last year in the Lions' first win. The secondary is questionable. So, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I did not know Smith was out. So they're a 6-point home favorite. That's going to play into that. And the over under has gone up. I think last time I looked at 52.5, but I did not, I'll be honest, I didn't know Smith was out. I'm glad you let me know that. So Denver Gator giving some loves here. Absolutely. Not only they win, they cover 3 easy. The line at 7, I was actually tempted to take the Chargers in 7. I wouldn't take a line that big on a team that's as questionable as the Chargers. But if Herbert plays even banged up, they're going to cover 3 in a heartbeat. I'm really paying attention to this. I may put I may put 25 down on the Chargers just for fun. Got to wait and see. This is one I'm really, really looking forward to. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know, and I should, but I didn't know Smith was out. That's a big deal. He's really the only secondary player I like on Minnesota, and the secondary's not good even with Smith. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, put some action on a prop bet from him. So Alex, can you imagine if Houston has more wins than Cleveland? Total chaos, and Houston would be America's favorite Texas team. Well, according to Alex, they already are, and Dallas is a complete disaster. I'm going to talk about them in a bit too. But Atlanta at Seattle. Seattle is a 1-point home favorite. Two bad teams. If Seattle wins and they go to 2-1, they're probably the worst 2-1 team I've ever seen. Atlanta at 0-2 has actually played a lot better than I thought. Mariota hasn't played bad. He really hasn't played bad. It'll be kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious about this game. I kind of expect Atlanta to win, but I actually don't know. If Seattle does win and goes 2-1, that's going to be really crazy. Green Bay at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's a 1-point favorite. Sammy Watkins is out. For those of you that are Chiefs fans, you're kind of chuckling because this is just normal for Sammy Watkins. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, when he plays, he's a legitimate number one receiver, a very, very good player, but he misses several games every single week. I like Green Bay actually to win this game on the road. Tampa Bay has a lot of injuries. With Watkins coming out, that's a main one. This one was Tampa Bay -2. Now they're -1. So I like Green Bay. This is another one I'm kind of like, I might put some action on Green Bay. So we'll have to wait and see. Tim, what's up, brother? Great. What's up, son? Great show right now. Week 3, you like winning the NFC North? Okay, actually, Tim, this is a fantastic question. I could not have planned this question any better. I think Green Bay wins this division easily. I think they win this division probably right after Thanksgiving, early December, late November. Green Bay's really good. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. Let's say Green Bay goes to 1-2, right? Green Bay goes to 1-2. They lose this week. I still think they win this division easily. Green Bay's easily the best team in this division. The other 3 teams is, it's kind of funny because they're all tied at 1-1. The other 3 teams I think are still up for grabs, and I think we're still trying to see who's where. I mean, Chicago could easily win. All right, they're favored at home. Let's say Chicago wins at 2-1. I said Seattle's the worst 2-1 team in NFL history. What about the Bears if they go 2-1? How terrible are they? But this division is still Green Bay's. Green Bay's going to have this locked up probably early December, late November. So great question. I'm really glad you asked it because there is a lot of hype around the NFC North. The Detroit Lions are the most entertaining team in the NFL because whether they're up by 20, whether they're down by 20, they find a way to make it a game. Dan Campbell's, after post-game speech in the locker room, I retweeted it. I don't know if you saw it or not. It was just amazing. He's doing some really great things. I like Minnesota to win and cover even with Harrison Smith still out. That might change my mind because I was kind of avoiding over-under, and now I might jump to the over. I should have known Harrison Smith was out. That's a big loss for the Vikings, but that's going to be a fun game. Green Bay's going to win this division. I think they're going to win it pretty easily. Start looking at Eckler prop bets, especially if Herbert's playing hurt. If Keenan Allen is playing, you may want to watch out on Allen. Bottom line, Keenan Allen is, I still think maybe easily a top 10 receiver, maybe a top 5. Really, really good receiver. J.C. Jackson, doubtful. I don't have the over-unders up. I can look at it if you want, but this may be something you may want to consider on over. At 3 right now, if Herbert plays, I absolutely love the Chargers. I may put some money on that. Dallas is terrible. I have a friend that's an Eagles fan, and we connect on our hatred at Dallas. Oh, that is so awesome. That is so awesome. And Dallas is terrible. It's kind of funny because I mean, right now it's kind of funny to there's only 6 undefeated teams, and the Giants are one of them, which is comical. But I think the Eagles win this division pretty easily, and the question is who's the second best team in the division right now? It's the Giants, which looks almost comical. Looks very, very comical. That's a crappy road schedule for Seattle. Play Chicago, fly back to Seattle, fly to Detroit. Yeah, it is. And by the way, if Detroit does find a way to win, they are going to be favored. I think early on, they're now like a 6.5 point favorite for next week. Seattle's going to travel to Detroit next week. So if Detroit can find a way to win, I think they can win at Seattle. So you could be looking at either 3-1, or let's say if they lose, you could be looking at 2-2, which is a lot better than last year. But if Detroit can find a way to get a win, I mean, how excited are you, James, if you end up being 3-1? Just so you know, I mean, they're almost a touchdown favorite against Seattle right now. I think this is okay. Let me throw out this scenario. Detroit loses, Seattle wins. What's going to happen to the line? If the line goes to around 2, which was what I would expect, Detroit would be a 2-point favorite. I would probably bet quite a bit on Detroit. I really would, and that's kind of what I hope happens, because that would be a good win. It'd be I find it hard to believe to say that I want to bet on Detroit, but if Detroit loses and Seattle wins, I would probably bet quite a bit on Detroit, because the line would be they would cover 2, and I like that quite a bit. Cleveland needs to stop running out draft pick Denver. They need to lose. Texans legit can beat Dallas, and absolutely it can. Yeah. 1-1-1 is a nice record, in my opinion. 3-0 is better, but hey, listen, man, I get it. I'm really hoping 1-1-1 by Monday. A really, really good game. I hope that this game probably isn't going to be the one that's going to be on in my area, but I'm going to watch this one. Los Angeles Rams at Arizona. Arizona's a 3.5 home point dog. I like the Rams to win. I actually like the Rams to cover. Even though the Cardinals swept the Rams last year, I think the Rams are not the same team. They don't look nearly as good. And Arizona had a great win, don't get me wrong, but I do like the Rams to bounce back. I think that they're a better team, and I'm going to watch. I haven't watched the Raiders Cardinals game, so I don't know what I'm going to see. But I really can't wait for this one. This is really going to be a real good one, because I want to see what the Rams can do. I mean, I want to see how good the Rams really are. Can they come back and get a win? So, yeah. Cliff D, man, welcome. I don't recognize you. So, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, by the way. And also share this on social media. That way the channel gets out to more and more fans. Packers versus Bucks, great game. Absolutely. Do you have a pick on this one? Who do you like? I actually like Green Bay. I don't know how familiar you are with my channel or not, but I bet on football. I got links to both my other sub channels below, but there's a very good chance I'm going to take Green Bay. Very good chance I'm going to take Green Bay. Not a full unit, maybe just $25, but I actually like Green Bay on this one. So I don't know how familiar you are with the channel, but I don't recognize you. So welcome, man. I really appreciate you joining in. So man, welcome, brother. XFL is announcing team names, in Houston is keeping a roughneck name. I like it too. I'm going to tell you something. I really like the XFL. Mike, holy shit, Mike. Yes, I remember, Mike. I've been missing you, man. I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here. I miss you. And I've been following Pete on social media. He's been trashing He's been trashing Tua in 2 years, but he's kind of changed his past. So I'm kind of curious. How do you like Miami? I think Buffalo wins, but I'm man. I'm Mike. I cannot tell you how happy I am that you joined, man. You can be Cliff. You can be whatever name you like. I'm glad you're here. You lost your account, man. Come on. I'm glad you're back, man. I've missed you. I missed you a lot. So this is very, very good. XFL talk about the league that won't die. I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't watch it, but so what it is that I canceled YouTube TV, so I got to watch it limited. But what I did see from the XFL, I found very entertaining. I thought some really good football, some pretty good former NFL coaches. I actually really liked it. Buffalo's injury report is very extensive. That's why this is the chance that if you're going to beat Buffalo, you want to do it where you're a home dog against a very beat up Buffalo team. So that's what I'm looking at. I know, man. It's been a while, man. I've missed Mike. Mike's one of my favorite people, man. Mike does a lot of sports betting. And Mike, all my social media links are below, plus my email. I got a couple of new YouTube channels. I just started one. I talk NFL history, and one I post all my picks. If you have any questions about prop bets, anything at all, just hit me up and let me know what I can do to help out. Also, if you're going to do any sports betting yourself, man, let me know what you like and what you don't like. You had some really good information last year. You had some really good picks. So, man, I'm super glad to hear from you, and I'm glad. Hopefully everything's doing well. Sunday night football, San Francisco at Denver. Denver is now a 1.5 point dog, and Denver has a long list of injuries, and that's kind of why I think. Let me double check here. Okay, so it went from 1 to 1.5. San Francisco's favored. If you've never been to Denver, that mile high, the thin air is something that's different. It's a big deal. If Denver was completely healthy for this game, they would probably be a 2, maybe 3 point favorite. They're really, really banged up. I personally I think Denver is going to win this game. This may be one. I'm going to kind of watch the injury report. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the injury report, and if Denver's going to play a bunch of guys, I'll probably pick Denver to win. Funk, what's up, brother, man? Russ is trash. He's not looked good, man. He's not looked good, and the coach has not looked good either, man. First time head coach. Seems to be unprepared. He's also calling plays. He needs to get on. After the season's over, I think whether he wants to or not, they're going to force him to get an offensive coordinator. So, but I'll be honest, I do like Denver to win this week. Just FAU out game so far. God, when they had Lane Kiffin coaching there, I knew it wasn't going to be for a long time, but they got a bunch. Remember, I don't know if you ever watched Last Chance U, but they had several players from Last Chance U play at FAU, and I think they got up to like being ranked 24th when Kiffin was there. Of course, Kiffin took the Ole Miss job. But they're actually kind of doing some cool things. There was a Boca Raton, if I'm correct. I kind of want to do some vacationing in Florida. I've been visiting Council Bluffs and Colorado, Black Hawk, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver. Absolutely loved it. I probably need to do a little more East Coast travel. What's up, fellas? Sorry I was late playing Mar. Hey, man, Funk, I'm glad you're here, man. But I'll be honest, man. I do think Denver wins, and it's not as much Denver as I don't think San Francisco is all that good. I will. I may be visiting after football season. So summer died here in the Midwest. And I have a feeling in the next week or two, it'll be freezing, it'll be snow. And summertime's the best time of the year. I love the heat. I'm built for the heat. I got, maybe it's a shaved head. I don't know, but I'm going to travel to some warm climate during the winter months. After football season, I'm going to spend maybe some time in Vegas, maybe Texas, maybe I'll just do a trip to Florida for a week, but I'm going to get out of the cold for a while. I will hit you up because I do want to do a little traveling to Florida. So Boca Raton. That's where FAU plays. It's a cool place. Never been there. So I've driven through Florida several times, never got to visit. And yeah. Actually, to be honest, the weather is perfect. It's it's cloudy, it's 70. I'm wearing shorts. But it's got that winter feel, because one thing about the Midwest, it goes from summer to winter like that. So we're today's first day of fall. 1 or 2 days ago it was 95. Okay, 99. Yeah, it was 95. Okay, so it was 95 yesterday, or 2 days ago. 2 days ago it was 95. And it rained yesterday, and then today it boom, fall. And soon we're going to get some heat. So 49ers with Jimmy G. I don't know. They kind of win strange games with him, and this game screams a potential strange ass game. I agree completely. It's kind of funny because I think the Niners are a much better team with Jimmy G as the quarterback than Lance. So that's kind of why that I took the action on Seattle to cover 9.5, which I lost. Because I didn't think that with Trey Lance, they could beat Seattle by 10 points. Now, with Jimmy G, I think they're much better, but they are limited in going downfield. Now, Denver has a lot of injuries all over, because if they were healthy, I think they win pretty easily, because I like their front seven against Lance, because you're going to play a lot of press man. However, Surtain, I think, is questionable, maybe out. Simmons, I think, is in the same boat. They have a lot of injuries. Browning, I think, is out. So there's a lot of problems all over that defense, because here's how you play San Francisco. If you're Denver, if you're healthy, you just play press on the receivers and you force Jimmy G to beat you deep, because you have a really good pass rush. Denver's front seven is pretty good, but because the offense has been so horrible, they haven't really been able to take advantage of it. I mean, they held Seattle. Seattle's not a good offensive team, but Seattle is 17, Houston to 9. I mean, normally you give up 13 points a game. Your defense is one of the best in football. It's just that it's been overshadowed because of all the talk about Russell Wilson, and he has not looked good. This week, I don't think they're going to look good, but I think they should get the win, and they'll be a really bad 2-1 team. That's what I think. Yeah, same thing here, Funk. Yeah, same thing here. I think it's the end of summer, which bums me out because I love summertime. I love the heat. Let me get some coffee. Monday Night Football. I could say this is a stinker, but to tell you the truth, I really, really, really am looking forward to this one. Dallas at the New York Giants. Giants are a 1-point favorite. And I can't wait to see this game, because I want to see is Micah Parsons, because who was it that compared him to Lawrence Taylor? And normally I would just laugh. But is he as good as people think that he could be? I mean, he has 4 sacks in 2 games. I think calling him the next Lawrence Taylor is a little overblown. But how's he do against a young offensive line that the Giants have? Can the Giants really be a good team? The Giants, if they go 3-0, that's an interesting story. The Dallas Cowboys at 2-1 with Prescott coming back, that's also very interesting to go. So this is going to be kind of a fun game against 2 really not good teams. I'm kind of really looking forward to this. So Hatter's House 710. What's up? Go Lions, man. Well, that's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game now. So what the deal is that I'm going to be over at my dad's house. We're going to watch Chiefs and Colts. And when I watch games with my dad, he doesn't have the red zone. I do. So my I'm not going to be able to go back and forth. I just have to see the highlights. But when I get home, I'm going to check out the red zone. Hopefully they replay Detroit at Minnesota, because that is a game I really, really, really want to see. I really want to see it. I'm very excited about it. Giants winning because Dallas will find a way to lose. That's going to be interesting, man. I'm actually really excited about this Monday night game, because there are two teams I don't think that are very good, but the Giants have a chance to go 3-0, and if Dallas wins, they're going to be 2-1, and that's without Prescott. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm really, really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a good one. I don't know. The over/under is 39.5. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. So you already talk about the team with the most points scored by the offense, or the team that supposedly had the most pressure then, huh? So we talk about the team with the most points scored, or the most pressure. I think with the most points is the Lions, but supposedly had the most pressure. Parsons is like Lawrence Taylor. What's funny is some Lions fans wanted him to play middle linebacker, and they keep saying, wish we had him. Some people just don't get it. The plan was actually to play him at middle linebacker, but with his speed and his ability to rush the passer, they just kind of started using him as a linebacker on first and second down, just a third down. Now they're kind of using him primarily as a defensive end, and that's where I think he should be used. But I mean, technically, is a linebacker. He played middle linebacker at Penn State, and most people think that that's kind of what a linebacker should be. He's like 6'3", 240. Remember, everybody at that pro day ran like sub 4.4, but I mean, he's got sideline to sideline speed. But if I'm like a Parsons, I want to play defensive end in that Dan Quinn defense, where he just needs to get upfield. But how they're using him is pretty creative. But yeah, a lot of Lions fans wanted him to play middle linebacker. A lot of teams looked at him as a middle linebacker, but to tell you the truth, how they're using him as more of a pass rusher is pretty smart, and that's how I would continue to use him. Now, I think that they still are going to use him more as a linebacker, and then have him just rush after the passer a little more, but it'll be very interesting to see. I personally, I would make him almost a full-time edge rusher and just say go after the quarterback. Now, I think even though he's a stout dude, he would have to put on, the NFL 20, get up to like 250, 260 to be a full-time defensive end. But again, another reason why I'm really looking forward to this game. And also, I think Thibodeau is going to play too. Remember you guys really were high on Thibodeau for a while. So that would be kind of an interesting one, man. Yeah, it is a cool pitcher, isn't it? It is a cool picker. Cool pitcher. I like Green Bay. Mike or Cliff. I'll call you Cliff. Whatever you want to be called. I'm going to call you Cliff because that's the name here. I like Green Bay in this one, and the reason why is Akeem Akers. I think that's it. Akeem Akers is out. All those offensive line injuries. Green Bay's front seven is solid. The secondary, I don't think is really that good in Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay next couple of weeks are really going to struggle. You got a real tough game against Green Bay at home, and then you host Kansas City next week. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Tampa Bay drops both those games. But I do like Green Bay in this one. I really do. I just think Tampa Bay's really banged up, and I like Green Bay's front seven a lot. Kenny Clark should have a big game against a kind of a rebuilt in offensive line interior. So yeah. Pre-draft, I was telling everyone that the next level, he's a 3-4 rush outside linebacker. Dude's making a living off D-Law's hip. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I thought that, I thought that Akeem Akers, I thought that Akeem Akers was going to be a 3-4 rush outside linebacker. Dude's making a living off D-Law's hip. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I thought that Akeem Akers was going to be a 3-4 rush outside linebacker. Dude's making a living off D-Law's hip. in a Tampa 2 defense. I thought he'd be a great middle linebacker. But I the one thing about him that really bothered me in college is that he really struggled reading. He really struggled reading plays. You could get him out of position really easy. If you were to say, Micah Parsons, go run through the A gap, go ball get, or was it go or a C ball get ball, right? He's as good as anybody. You have to have him read defenses, analyze a play. Then he was terrible, and he was really, really awful. And that's kind of why I like him as a defensive end, because I think you limit those things. I don't think you just have him go ball, see ball, get ball. And that's what I like about what they did last year with him. Is they made the game pretty damn simple for him. They didn't really try to overload him. And I think that as I'm having rushing the ball is just a smart move. A 3-4 rush outside linebacker, I think, would be perfect, because that's what they're doing in Denver with Baron Browning, which is a very similar player, not quite the athlete Parsons was, but they made him into an outside linebacker, which is perfect, and he's questionable. But yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence is see, here's what I think is going to happen. I think that what they're going to do is they're move on from Lawrence and ask Parsons to replace him, and then all of a sudden you're going to see Parsons' play kind of drop down. So that's what I kind of think the long-term play, but you're right. He's getting a lot of credit because teams are really focusing on Lawrence. So, yeah, I like Green Bay to win. I think One Pride 40 really wanted him bad. I apologize. I got you two mixed up. I know One Pride 40 really liked him. I thought you were high on him too. So I'm picking Green Bay to win a close one. Yeah, I do too. So I got a very frown face emoji. Yeah, I know you're a fan of all the Florida teams, but I'll be honest. I like Green Bay. That rebuilt Tampa Bay offensive line really bothers me. But one thing I do like is that they're becoming more of a run-heavy team and really using Fournette more. I mean, Fournette is really what kind of makes this team go round. Just Green Bay's front seven is really, really good. I just think that you have a banged-up offensive line versus one of the better front sevens in football. I really like that advantage with Green Bay, and that's kind of why I like them. So, never wish injuries on players, but I noticed Parsons limping in Cincinnati game towards the end. Not a Cowboys fan, but I like talented player. Keep an eye on Parsons' ankles. I didn't know he was banged up. I don't think he's on the injury report, but that Monday Night Football game, even though it's two teams, I think they're going to be bad teams. I think both these teams are going to be sub 500 teams when everything's said and done. Dallas may be like 9-8. I think Philly wins this division pretty easily. But I'm really, really looking forward to this game. I actually am pretty excited about this. Saquon Barkley's healthy. That's not going to. Same thing with Saquon Barkley. Like I've said about a few other players, when he's healthy, he's as good as it gets. But when he's almost always injured, which is a shame. So, I also wanted to trade back and take Lloyd or Wilson. Lloyd's playing lights out right now. Lloyd would be great on the Lions defense. I actually, before the right before I went on, I logged into the Draft Network, and I was looking at some mock drafts, and I was looking at some big boards, and it's kind of taking a look around, and I think that there's a very strong chance. I'm kind of thinking, with the way the offense has looked in Detroit, you may want to, after this season, see if you can work out a deal with Goff and maybe get a team-friendly deal, keep them in Detroit. I have no idea what you could or couldn't do there, but if you keep them in Detroit and then use your 2 first-round picks on defensive players, you could do something really, really good. It'll be something interesting to see, because I always assumed that when you made the trade that you were going to have Goff be a short-term solution. Now I'm thinking maybe you keep him around long-term. And if you do that, you have 2 first-round picks. So I was kind of looking at the draft. Let's just say 15 and 25 for fun. You have picks 15 and 25, more than likely with the way Detroit's been doing things. Now, I know last year they traded up, but this year I expect them to trade down one of those picks, but you could get a really, really good defensive player at either 15 or 25 and then trade down to get and really just boost up this roster. That could be a lot of fun. But Lloyd's one of my favorite players. I loved Lloyd. I thought he could have gone to Detroit at 13. So, yeah. What do you put over under on Burrow games played this season? I'm going to give him credit. I mean, he's a tough motherfucker, but he's getting killed. I'm going to say 12 and a half. And I like the under. I really think that there's a good chance this season may come to an end in the next couple of weeks. I would never want a player to get hurt, but I mean, he's getting the shit kicked out of him. And I also, I kind of question this too. One of the things I said, and I said this all off season, is team that goes up usually almost always comes back down. That's why I like the under on the Bengals. And I said that, yeah, if this is Madden, they would be better, but in real life, they're not going to be as good. And I think that they were kind of, I know the Bengals fans were drinking own Kool-Aid. A lot of Bengals fans thought they were just going to waltz right back to an AFC championship game. And I think that the Bengals believed that they were much better than they were. And I really think that this is a situation where they're not going to be good. And I mean, seriously, I really think that almost every week Burrow has a chance to get knocked out. I really, really see it. And the Jets defensive line, they don't do a lot of blitzing. They got some pressure on Brissett. So I think I said the wrong name for Cleveland earlier, but they pressured Brissett just with the front four. Now I know that I'm going to call him JDT. I can't think of his name right now. The one of the Jets all defensive linemen's out, or he was injured in that game. I think he's going to be out, and I have no idea why. The number 27 pick in the draft, or number 26. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. Kid out Florida State, was at Georgia, one of the best pass rushers in the draft. I'm drawing anyway. I don't know. I know he didn't play in that game, but I don't know if he's out, if they're just trying to ease him into the defense. But I'm kind of paying attention to that. I didn't look at the injury report before I came on the air, but that's something I kind of want to watch when I watch the highlights of this game, is who's on play on that defensive line. I want to see how many times Burrow gets hit. But yeah, I would say 12 and a half, and I picked the under. I don't think he's going to finish the year. It's a damn shame too, because he's a tough son of a bitch, and he's a good player. So, Cliff, I lived in the St. Pete area in the orange creamsicle to pewter transition. Longtime Bucks fan, but Tampa offense looking banged up on the offense right now. So yeah. Goff is at 30 a year through 2024. So yeah, Noah Simpson. Simpson. I'm drawing a blank on Simpson, but Noah Sewell would be a nice pickup, depending on what he runs. I really like Sewell. But I wonder what he runs. And I know Oregon hasn't looked great early on. I know Georgia beat the crap out of them, and Sewell didn't look good in that game. But if he runs sub 4.7 and looks good, the corner from Clemson. Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about. But Sewell, let's just say you're at 30. All right, I'm 25, 30. That might be a good one. Yeah, I really like Green Bay in this one. I may actually put some money on Green Bay because it's almost a pick 'em. They are waking up. I'm going to follow this because I may put some action on the Chargers because the line dropped from 7-3. So I haven't watched Clemson play, but I do know he's a corner and he's a high draft pick. So That's one thing I do like about the Midwest. We get tornadoes, no hurricanes. Oh, man, a good college question. My boy Tim coming in strong today, man. Quick college question. Think USC makes college football playoffs this year? I remember back in the day, you and I watching them in some crappy sports bar. LOL, Reggie Bush, baby. Man, Tim, I know you're married and doing a family thing, but God, man, I miss you, man. I'd love to hang out. I did a lot of traveling to Council Bluffs. I don't know if you're ever in the area or not, but God, me and you need to get together. Just me and you. We need to talk some sports. USC, not this year, but I think that they're recruiting like crazy. It's just really a matter of time before USC becomes a perennial top 10 team. But they don't get into the top 4. Not this year, but they're recruiting really well, and the playoffs are expanding from. I don't know when it's going to go into play, but if I remember right, it's going to go from 4 to 12, if I remember correctly. And not this year, but next year. And they're recruiting really well. Now, the Pac-12 is just weak. It's just weak. But when they end up in the Big Ten is going to have some interesting football because I think they're going to be really good. UCLA is also doing some pretty good things. They got Chip Kelly there. He's not getting the 5-star players that USC is going to get, but he's recruiting a lot of solid 3-star players. He's not able to recruit like he did at Oregon, but he's getting some really good players, and they're actually building something. That USC-UCLA game is going to be a fun one to watch. It's going to be a really fun game to watch. That's one I'm probably going to DVR. But USC, not this year, but next year, probably because they're doing a good job recruiting. So, check out the link below. I have both my other sub YouTube channels on there. I'm going to have an NFL history video coming out either Saturday or Sunday. I'm finally going to get to do that. Me and Denver Gator did part of my NFL bets video. That's going to be released later tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. I've only bet on one game, and that was the Kansas City. I took the money line, and then I put just $25 on them to cover 5.5. So it's what's called hedging your bet, because I do 100% believe the Chiefs are going to win this game. I don't know if they cover 5.5. I'll be honest, I really think that they're going to win by double digits, but the Colts are doing crazy. So did you see betting lines? USC opened 14.5 in one casino, 5 in another. Everyone bet middles again. Huge. No, I did not. I haven't looked at one college bet spread all year, Cliff. It's so weird calling you Cliff. I haven't done one college bet spread all year, but if something crazy like that happens again, man, do me a favor. You follow me on social media. I know Pete follows me on Twitter. Hit me up and let me know what's going on, because I would love this to be able to check something like that out. If USC can solidify the defense, they would be considered for the top spot, but that conference will be overlooked. SEC and Big Ten top teams will be top 4. USC. Yeah, I agree completely. Even if they go undefeated, they'll be passed up for a one loss SEC team. I think Ohio State, even though they haven't looked great, I think they're probably going to go undefeated. Probably. And that Big Ten East with Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, that's just awesome right now. That's just one of the best. I mean, that's almost as good as the SEC. Alabama and Auburn playing SEC East, right? I believe that's correct. I mean, that rivals the SEC East, but that's exactly what I see. I see the SEC Big Ten and then I see maybe one outside team, maybe. And I don't think USC is going to be it. I mean, college football just started, so I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But I mean, as of right now, as of today, I'd almost put Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State as locks in, and then you're going to have that 4 spot. And I think USC, unless they go undefeated and just kill everybody by like 30, 40 points, then They're not going to have it. So I don't know if you remember this, Tim, but me and you, when Michigan and Ohio State was 1-2, me and you were at the Isle of Capri in Boonville. So I don't know if you remember that, but that was like one of the greatest games of all time, and we were playing blackjack. So me and you need to get together sometime soon. Bama, Auburn, West, Georgia, East. Okay, I got it wrong. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. And by the way, Missouri is in the SEC East for some reason. I never understood that. But when Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC, hopefully they get it right. But I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to the mega conferences. It's going to be fun. I think the mega conferences is going to be a lot of fun. I really, really do. I'm not super excited about the 12. I kind of like, just 4, and I knew 4 is going to go to 12. 12 is going to go to 16. And hopefully they stop at 16. But it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to break it and just go to 64 like basketball. We'll have to wait and see. Guys, give me a thumbs up. All right, give me a thumbs up. Share this YouTube channel. Try to get it up and running. Try to share this to more people. I'm currently at 795 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 8. So do me a favor, share this. Do give me a thumbs up. After the video is over, I'm going to wrap up here. Leave a comment below. Drop a comment down. Say anything you want. It just helps the algorithm if you leave a comment. So, yeah, I remember you had to. That was the right. You had that really. Oh, yes. I actually did throw those boots away. But I bought another pair just like them. Yeah, so what happened is I got my butt kicked on the blackjack table. Me and Tim shared a room, and I threw my boots across the room. I was so pissed. Yeah. So, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, that was a rough night. That was a rough night of blackjack, by the way. I got offers that come down there. I got free dinners, hotels. I never went back. So, but me and you need to get together soon. So, Tim, do me a favor after I end this, drop a comment below, give me a thumbs up, share this channel, man. Just post this channel on social media. I'm at 795. I'm trying to get up to 8. That's not too much to ask. So I appreciate it. Guys, I'm going to wrap up unless you have anything else. I'm going to wrap this up. If you have any questions, just FYI, I shut off my phone Sunday morning, so I cannot be reached on Sunday. If you have any questions at all, fantasy football, prop betting, sports betting, hit me up Saturday. All my social media links are below. I got my phone. I will respond. I'll have my betting video either out tonight or tomorrow, and on my first NFL history video out either Saturday night or Sunday, but that one's coming out, plus my betting videos coming out later tonight or Saturday, but I'll have that ready to go. So guys, have a great time, and I'll be back Wednesday. So I'll see you guys back on Wednesday.